Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So finally, I'm catching up my Big Finish, glut of Big Finish need to catch up on. Trouble is, it's taken me a long time because the releases, generally speaking, aren't as good as they used to be. I mean, listen, Big Finish is fitting so seamlessly into Doctor Who fandom, right? Now it's about 20 years old. We go, it's not as good as it used to be. That's exactly what it was like in the 80s, right? Exactly what it was like in the 80s. But it also happens to be true. They're not as good. So, like, that Joe Jones set, I'm like 1.5 discs through that. I was just like wading through mud. And then I got things that are coming out that look more interesting. Like the Space 99 one just came out, which I'm kind of looking forward to listening to. So, but yeah, I'm hoping that this month is the month I'll be able to catch up. Because as of next month, basically, my patronage is severely curtailing. I'm not really interested in the Fourth Doctor stuff after they get finished the stuff with their issues. Not really interested with their issues, but I just figured I started it, so I'll finish that. But I'm in avoiding. I tried the first Sullivan and Cross release, and they just didn't land with me at all. And they've been on the Seventh Doctor, so I'm not really interested in those. And they've been in the Fourth Doctor coming up next year, so I'm not really buying in the Fourth Doctor range next year, for the foreseeable future. And then same with the Fifth Doctor range. Just like these box sets are so amorphous, right? They're like, Trouble at Mill. No, even that's too specific. Like Lightness and Dark. They're all the titles are very generic, which the one we're reviewing right here now with Comrades in Arms is. They're very, very generic and could really be slapped on anything, and the stories don't really feel that they congeal, and the stories don't really do much to excite me, right? When you had a monthly range, when there was a subscription, you would have like the less explosive release, right? And it'll be fine. But now you've got to really justify me buying your box set. So you did with 40, with even a terrible name, right? Terrible name, man. You got the new Second Doctor box set coming out next month is called was it James McCribbin or something like that. It actually sounds like it's like they can only be specifically for that box set, which is very good. But again, that's really the problem with Big Finish. So the fourth one, the Fifth Doctor, I'm out. Sixth Doctor, the whole Hebe stuff is just makes me heave. Again, listen to the first story, not interested, right? Now it's sort of devolved into Doctor Who and his amazing gal pals, like got Colin Baker's head is sticking out from the corner of the box set, right? On the cover, surrounded by a gazillion other stunning and brave women who will do Doctor Who's job, I guess. So that's the Sixth Doctor. Seventh Doctor, I didn't like the Sullivan and Cross stuff, and for me, the Seventh Doctor stuff was his pinnacle with the New Adventures, and I think they moved away from that somewhat. And so they're not interested in me as well. Eighth Doctor, I'm going to give it a punt on that new thing they've tried. And Ninth Doctor, again, just amorphous. So I'm having a lot more time on my hand starting from next month, right? Because you're going to tell you. Okay, I can't justify the expense on things that I'm finding hard to listen to, drag to listen to. That's basically where we are. Anyway, so this one is a frustrating release, right? A very frustrating release because it's nearly good. And there's some greatness in it. They're really in the writing. There's actually some greatness. I always like Jonathan Carey's performance, but it just misses the mark, I think, because it the overlooking producer, script editor, doesn't have a clear enough idea of what they're doing, right? The bottom line is the War Doctor is nearly the protagonist, but he never is in any of these three stories. He's adjacent, right? It's always about telling some feminine story, right? Which I'm not really that opposed to, but like, can you make the War Doctor the main character? I would say the David Warner Ersatz Doctor in the Bernie Sonnenfeld set, who was not the central character, that was Bernie Summerfield, right, was more central than the War Doctor is this one. But it's really annoying because everything about it is great. The ideas behind the stories are great, so it's really, really frustrating. They got me for was it another one of these box sets, right? So I think I'm staying on. But man, Big Finish, generally speaking with me, on somewhat thin ice. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic. You can find me on Rumble. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube, right? I live stream most days. This comes from a live stream I did on Friday. Am I going out today? I'm recording this intro on Sunday. I don't know. Who knows or dares to dream, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows or dares to dream? Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic, especially if you can subscribe at Rumble. That really is good for me. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fantastic. Now, let me hand over to me from a couple of days ago. I finally finished listening to this. I can now knowledgeably talk about it, right? So this is the first one, right? This is the first one without Louise Jameson overseeing it, and you really do notice a difference, right? You really, really do notice a difference. This is the weakest one they put out so far, and it's a shame because all the elements are pretty strong. The cover's wrong. The cover's pretty weak, I think. Oh, not weak. I think it's wrong for this type of drama, right? They're selling it incorrectly, right? I think they're not selling it authentically as what it is, and I think if they did, they would probably sell more, right? That bottom line, right? I think they probably would sell more. Because they're selling it as too feminine a product when it's really more of a masculine story. Now, the problem with this one is that the War Doctor isn't really the protagonist, and he could very nearly be, right? He's like one step off. The script editing is not the best, right? It's not. When I say not the best, it's not very strong. I think the production generally on this thing is weaker, right? I think. Comrades in Arms is a generic title. You could slap that on any of these box sets, right? There's nothing specific to it, right? So the big problem with this is the character Case, who they introduced in a previous box set, and she's like look, she is the absolute definition of a SJW Mary Sue, right? Absolutely, that she is the stunning and brave woman who's the key to everything, and she literally is that character. That being said, it was actually that wasn't really that bad, right? It wasn't Michael Burnham level awful, right? Yeah, and she's quite personal in the script. All the elements are good, right? And I think Jonathan Kerry really holds it together, and he's the one that continues my interest in this series, right? But okay, so they essentially bring this character back. She is the glue that holds this series together. Now, the problem with that is this: that she's either a woman or a black woman. I'm not sure which, right? One of the two. What's the problem with that? Well, firstly, this is a masculine role, and I can't remember the last time there was a masculine role played by a man, right? It's universally played by women now. It's ridiculous, right? I can't think of I think that wasn't a legacy role, right? Any role, again, a military commander, a leader of any type, always a woman. It's been like that for 5 years, and it's ridiculous, right? Now, the problem, though, is there's a drive to make people who are minorities, who people in the entertainment industry feel have been underrepresented, have them be more represented. So they want more casting of these people, right? So the demand for minorities, right, or black women, for example, has gone up massively, right? The supply has not risen to meet the demand. Now, you may say, but that demand was completely undersubscribed before. And I would say, but now the demand completely oversubscribes the supply, because she's just not strong enough to carry off this role, which is quite well written, right? She doesn't have the acting chops to make me care about her enough to be on board when you have the big emotional moments, right? They fall flat, right? They fall flat, and it's no real diss on her. This was, I think, supposed to be like a second tier character, right? I think it was supposed to be like a This is a character not meant to, in my mind anyway, not meant to carry the emotional weight of the series, right? And by doing that, it kind of also fails. So again, the story though is good. The whole idea is good. So this woman is an augmented Dalek super weapon that the Doctor helped break out of Dalek control. And they're the own person now, right? So we start off. Let's have a look at the blurb. Mother's love. Yeah. Okay. This is what really pisses me off. There's a lot of greatness in this, right? There's a lot of really good, strong sci-fi ideas in this that are really marred by this identity casting. Right, but there's a lot of just really strong ideas. So Mother's love. So responding to a distress call, the War Doctor arrives at Haven, a state-of-the-art Time Lord field hospital, operated by an highly advanced medbay operation mainframe, or MUM. So yeah, this is really good. It's essentially a psycho computer, right? But on the station has been compromised. MUM's secrets run deep. Time is running out, and the War Doctor must renew old alliances if he's to get out alive. So again, the problem with this is there's a girl that this mum is protecting, and it's much more her story. It's not the War Doctor's story, right? And he's somewhat peripheral to the emotional terms of the story, which is again the nutball computer, fantastic, strong writing by Noga Flacian, right? Who I've never heard of before, right? Good, it's really good, and but I think there's just a fear of or a weakness in the script editing production, to impose down more a stronger vision. That's what it is. This box set, I think box sets in general need a stronger vision. The Nick Briggs ones have the stronger vision, right? That's really the difference right there. Berserker, another great idea. Love this freaking idea. Don't like it on the cover, the representation of the cover, but I like the idea. Sunspire was devastated by Daleks centuries ago. The last of the people are returning to seek out their heritage in an underground bunker and save their species from extinction. Case and the War Doctor join the mission, posing as Dalek Killer and her squire. Yeah, all that is pretty darn good, right? It is pretty darn good. I like this one. But the bunker has... Okay, in fact, I like it so much, I'm going to re-listen to it. The bunker has an occupant, a single berserker Dalek driven insane by 400 years of solitude. It's driven insane because it hasn't had anybody to kill. And it's completely freaking bonkers. So I have to re-listen to this one because it's kind of conceived in one cut. Like the movie 1917. It probably came out at the time they were writing this. 1917 is like one kind of shot with a couple of bits of trickery, but essentially it's one shot, right? One continuous shot. Which obviously very good. But yeah, so so this has that similar vibe, and it's got a good kinetic build-up because of it. Again, though, it's much more Case's story than the War Doctor's story, right? It's his lack of centrality really. I think Louise Jameson on a more production role side would have brought him more to the center, and it's just like it's little thing. It's just a halfway step. So the Berserker Dalek is kind of cool because it can take itself apart and rebuild itself and use any other technology as well and rebuild itself. And it's also bonkers, which is good. So I like this for me. I think was the fun idea, right? It was just again needs a bit more script editing or just to move the Doctor into the center of the story, and he's just off center right now. Final one is Memnos, another story, right? And this one really benefits as well by I would say stunning, right? Genuinely stunning performance by Nick Briggs as the time controller Dalek, right? It absolutely, like, probably his best Dalek performance ever, right? Genuinely, it's absolutely wonderful. So they're on this planet, Memless, a secret Time Lord project, recording everything lost in the Time War, a place where the War Doctor can admit his part in the conflict and seek solace, and perhaps he can find salvation for Case. But the Dalek strategist will not let her potential, will not let slip her potential. She could be the Dalek's greatest weapon. A battle for Case's soul will be won or lost in Memlot. So again, the Doctor isn't central enough. It starts off you have Case again, who isn't strong enough, right? They haven't built up the character strongly enough yet to be able to really pull it off. But you have this character Case running through a memory, running through these archives, trying to work out where she's from, what planet she's from. The Doctor thinks he found it. He's got another nefarious plan in his back pocket as well. At the same time, the Dalek strategist is able to connect to her in cyberspace. And so most of it takes place in cyberspace, right? But again, the standout performance from Nick Briggs really, really, really is great as the very malicious and intelligent time strategist, right? Really, really great. So that elevates it up. But again, the problem with this is the Doctor not being at the center of the plot. He's too peripheral, right? And again, not having a strong enough identity. I think this painted cover thing is a bit done. I think it should be used more sparingly. This one really needs a more cinematic box set cover. Photoshoppy one more than this one. I think it's a much more masculine thing, and he's like and you need a different realization for the Berserker Dalek. That looks garbage. Venklin looks weird on this cover. Who I like that character a lot. She's one of the many female military characters that I do like, right? But she's okay. Comrades in Arms. No, it's generic. Something that can only work for this box set. Right, that's what it needs to be. Something that can only work for this box set. And I don't know. But the idea of like the Doctor and Case being teamed up. Although again, the realization of Case on the cover is weak. Right, it's not. She's too hot. Right, it's too like it just doesn't really work. Right, it needs and it's too like clingy sci-fi costume. Right, I don't know. I think it needs to be a bit more bulgy, a little bit more. It looks cheap. Right, that's the thing. It looks like a cheap costume, whereas Venklin's looks real because it was modeled on real costumes. Right, they should have put a little bit more thought into this. Do you have any pictures of them backstage? Who's Tiger Bone? Okay, who played Venklin? Who played? Is it? Yeah, this is Ajiz Awad. So I don't know. Is Ajiz Awad not white? I can't tell. God, like, why are we even worrying about this bullshit? Well, I think that's basically where we are, though. Constantly worrying about bullshit like this. They should cosplay him as the War Doctor. It's a big making a mistake not doing that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's I found this a frustrating box set. Nearly good is how I would describe it. Frustratingly nearly great. Really missing Lou James, right? Really missing Lou James. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.